Have you ever just looked down at your hands and wondered, what if your entire future is already written there? Well, for more than 4,000 years, the ancient art of palmistry, which actually started in India, has claimed exactly that. The idea is that the secrets to who we are and who we're going to be are literally right in the palm of our hand. So let's get into it. So, really, is it true? Is your life story just etched right there into your skin? Go on, take a look at your own hands right now. We're going to walk through this together, and by the end, you'll be able to read your own palms.
Okay, first things first. Which hand do we even look at? You might have heard that old saying, men on the left, women on the right, but you can just toss that idea out the window. The source material says that's a total myth. The real answer is actually a lot more personal.
And this is where we hit a really cool central idea in palmistry. Take a look at your non-dominant hand. You know, your left hand if you're a righty. This one shows your innate destiny. Think of it like the blueprint you are born with. Now, look at your dominant hand. This shows your acquired destiny, the path you've actually built for yourself through all your hard work and the choices you've made. So here's the thing, you absolutely need both hands to get the full story. It's like your non-dominant hand is the potential you started with, but your actions, which show up on your dominant hand, can either supercharge that potential or, throw a few hurdles in the way. Your real destiny is the conversation happening between both of your hands.
All right, now let's get to the heart of it all, the three main lines. Pretty much everybody has these. You can think of them as the three pillars of what makes us human: our life force, our mind, and our emotions.
First up, we've got the famous lifeline. And let's just bust a huge myth right off the bat. The length of this line has nothing to do with how long you're going to live. Not at all. What it's really about is the strength, the quality, the juice of your life force and vitality.
Okay, so how do you actually read your own? Look for a nice wide sweeping curve that arcs out into your palm. That's a great sign of strong, lasting energy. If the arc is a bit smaller, it might mean your energy can dip a little more quickly. Oh, and the source says to look for any smaller lines running parallel to it. That's a sign of a super resilient life force. And check out the very end of the line. See a little fork? That's called the travel line, and it's a fantastic sign that you'll find success if you venture far away from home. Next up is the wisdom line. Sometimes people call it the headline. Now, this isn't about how smart you are. It's not an IQ test. It's all about how you think. It shows your whole process for making decisions and looking at the world. Are you a logical person, or do you run on intuition? This line has the answers.
Let's break it down. If you've got a shorter line, you're probably someone who trusts your gut and makes decisions pretty fast. A longer line? That points to a deep, careful thinker who likes to look at all the angles. Now, is your line straight? That suggests a very rational, logical mind. If it curves down toward your wrist, you're probably more on the creative and emotional side. And here's a really interesting one. If your wisdom line starts totally separate from your lifeline, that's the mark of a fiercely independent spirit.
And the third major line is the heart line. This one is all about your emotional world. It tells us how you handle your feelings, how emotionally steady you are, and how you connect with other people. It's basically your emotional signature. So, if your heart line is on the shorter side, you might have these really big impulsive emotions, the highest highs and the lowest lows. A longer line points to more emotional stability. But a little warning from the source, these people can sometimes hold a grudge. Now, check the end of your line. If you can see a clear three-pronged fork, you've hit the jackpot. That's the lucky goddess mark, and it means you're the kind of person who brings good luck to everyone around you.
Okay, so we've covered the big three that almost everyone has. But now, we're moving on to a line that's a huge deal for your career and success, but not everyone has it. This is the fate line.
The fate line is the one that runs right up the middle of your palm, vertically. Now, if you're looking at your hand right now and thinking, I don't have one, do not panic. The source is really clear on this. It is not a bad sign at all. It just means your path might be less about being the solo leader and more about being an amazing team player or collaborator.
Now, if you do have a fate line, the way it looks tells a whole story. A nice, clear, unbroken line from the bottom to the top, that points to a life of steady success. What if it's not a full line? Well, if it's only on the bottom half, your luck is at its peak when you're young. If it's just on the top half, you're a classic late bloomer. Your biggest successes are coming later in life. A broken or spotty line can mean big career changes, and if you see more than one, well, you might be juggling a few different careers or side hustles.
So just how powerful is this line? Get this, the source tells this incredible story about Toyotomi Hideyoshi. He was a peasant in 16th century Japan who ended up becoming the ruler of the whole country. The thing is, he was born without a fate line. But in a battle, he blocked a sword with his bare hand, and the wound just so happened to carve a perfect fate line into his palm. And from that day on, his rise to power was absolutely unstoppable.
Okay, so beyond those main lines, your palms can have these other special, sometimes really rare markings that are said to point to amazing luck and unique talents. This is where we get into some of the really cool secrets of palmistry.
First, look at that space on your palm right between your heart line and your wisdom line. Do you see a little cross shape in there? That is the mystic cross. It's seen as a sign of major protection, like you've got a guardian angel or just this uncanny ability to get out of scrapes. It also means you have incredibly powerful intuition.
Now for a really rare one, this is called the King's Line. It is a total powerhouse marking. It happens when 3 different lines, the fate line, the money line, and the fortune line, all meet up and form this powerful trident shape. Having this is a sign of huge success and wealth, but it's also the mark of a true entrepreneur. These are the people who are born to lead, not to follow.
Next, see if you can find any stars on your palm. A lucky star is a little star shape made by 3 or more tiny lines crossing each other. And what they mean all depends on where they are. For example, a star under your ring finger is a sign of massive financial luck. We're talking lottery win kind of luck. One under your index finger means a wish you've had for a long time is about to come true.
And finally, we have what the source says is the rarest and most powerful sign of them all, Solomon's pentagram. This is a clear, 5-pointed star anywhere on the palm. It is said to be the mark of someone who is destined to literally change the world. People like Nobel Prize winners, legendary leaders, folks who change history.
But here's the thing, a proper palm reading isn't just about staring at the lines. To really get the full picture, you have to kind of zoom out and look at the whole landscape of your hand. All the other physical traits of your hand add different layers to the story. For example, thick, fleshy palms, that's said to be the sign of a generous, big-hearted person. Soft palms are supposedly linked to good luck with money. Even your fingers have clues. If your ring finger is longer than your index finger, that's seen as a sign of higher capability. And finally, just the color of your palm. If it has a nice, healthy, rosy glow, that points to really strong vitality. Okay, so we've looked at destiny, we've looked at success, at personality, but here is the single most important part of this whole thing. The source material is very clear. These lines, these markers of our so-called fate, they are not set in stone. In fact, they can change, and they can change a lot in as little as 3 months. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. If the lines on our hands can actually change based on what we do and how we live, then is destiny just some map that we're supposed to read and follow? Or is it a path that we are actively creating ourselves every single day with every single choice we make?